right, so let's get ready to welcome our special guest client, y'all. Listen, these two people I met in another coaching program. Well, by way of another coaching program. Um, we are very active on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a platform that all of us um, met on, and I met these young ladies in community with this group coaching program. And right off the bat, I knew they were bright lights. I knew they were gifted in so many ways. I knew they were phenomenal people that God is going to use to do more than great exploits in the world. They're so encouraging. They are so meaningful in their work, intentional. It's just, God he's very, very interesting with me when it comes to certain season of my life, who he brings in my life. And I don't know them as well as you may think, but he always has a special way of highlighting those people that I need to be connected to. And Janine and Richara are certainly those type of people. They're the type of people that, while we may not know each other that well because we met online, if we don't show up on LinkedIn in a couple of months, they're looking for you. Okay. They in your inbox asking how you doing. They're supporting you. You know how sometimes you'll see those posts online where it'll be like, it don't cost nothing to like a post. It don't cost nothing to share. It don't cost nothing to comment. They do it all the time. And it's not about, oh, you do me, I do you. No, it's they're doing it out of the kindness of their heart. They are good people. So Richara was actually supposed to be on season 1. Then I got sick. Look how the enemy do me. And I had to cancel most of the rest of season 1. So I reached back out to her and she came on board. And then Miss Neen, I reached out to her and she came on board in an instant. So I don't really have to do much. I just have to do what God tell me to do. And usually I get the yes that I need to make this thing go. So I'm just grateful for the both of them. So let me get to their official bios for you. We're going to start with Mrs. Janine, our first guest, more. So we have Mrs. Janine Wiggins, more affectionately known as Neen. She is the CEO of Resumes by Neen, LLC. As a military wife and proud Afro-Latina, she champions helping federal employees and job seekers achieve their career goals and financial stabilities. Then following her, we'll have our second guest, who is Mrs. Richara Warrren, who is a coach like me, a consultant like me, a mentor, and a strategic advisor, unlike me. Richara masterfully teaches how to thrive and lead confidently in diversity challenge spaces. She also equips women entrepreneurs with growth, scale, and optimization strategies. So now let me bring on tonight's first guest first, Miss Janine Wiggins. Welcome.
Thank you for having me, LJ. I appreciate it.
You're so very welcome. So go ahead, Janine. Tell the people. I know I gave your official bio, but go ahead and tell the people who you are, both personally and professionally, before I bring Richara on.
Yes, of course. So you already told them professionally, I am the owner of Resumes by Neen LLC. I am a federal resume writer and job search strategist. So my team and I help federal job seekers and also military veterans and people who are already working in the federal government land better paying roles. That comes with more income. Benefits, of course, and we just make sure they're aligned with their skills so that their
Mm.
job, whatever they're doing with their job, aligns with their skill set and their knowledge and competencies. Personally, I am a wife, I'm a sister, I am a friend, I am an auntie,
Come
I
on,
am a
Auntie.
believer in Jesus Christ. Let's just clarify that.
Come on.
A believer and a follower. And I serve a lot at my church. And that's who I am basically. Oh, I'm a dog mom too.
Oh yeah. Shout out to the dog moms. What kind of dog do you have?
So he is a mix between a Dachshund, I know I'm saying that wrong because I've been corrected before, and
Okay.
a terrier.
Okay.
So I guess you would classify him as a mutt, but he's
Okay.
extremely smart. He's like a hunting dog, even though we don't hunt.
Oh, Okay.
Yeah,
So
he's
is that a
very
small
smart.
breed, medium breed, large
Oh,
breed?
he's small. He's
He's,
about 23 pounds.
oh,
He's
that
little.
ain't that small. My baby's is 10 pounds and less.
Oh, well, then he's medium.
Okay.
He's
Well,
not small
good.
enough for a purse, but he's
Okay.
small enough to be unseen sometimes.
So you have Afro-Latina roots. Tell me more about that. Where's your origin again?
So I was born in Panama, the country, not Panama, Florida.
Okay.
My parents are also natives there.
Okay.
However, we migrated to the United States when I was about 2 years old. I
Okay.
believe I was little. So we moved first to New York and then to Alabama, where I am now. And now they live in North Carolina with my sisters and my niece.
Okay.
But yes, the roots are Panamanian. I don't have the accent like they do, but I understand more Spanish than I speak. So I always
Okay.
say I'm more Afro than Latina.
Okay. All right. And get it right. She is not from Florida. She is from Panama. Okay.
Right, because every time I say that, people are like, Panama, Florida? No, no, boo.
I know
Panama,
that's
the
right.
country.
Tell us, sis. All right. Well, thank you so much for being a part of today's broadcast. I'm going to go ahead and move on so we can get Richara Warrren on. You ready, girl? I see you back there. Hey, Richara.
Hey, boo.
How you
So
doing?
listen, I am good.
Yeah,
These tech trolls were trying to attack my life just then.
Oh my
it's all
gosh.
right. But it worked out. I saw
It's
you back.
working
I
out.
could. I saw you back there moving around. I figured it. But you know what? God is good. He's gonna make it happen.
Uh-huh. He
All
gonna move
right.
this thing.
Yeah, but okay. So Rashard, we had an opportunity to learn more about Neen, and I read both of y'all's bios. So y'all, you give me your version of the bio for yourself,
Ooh.
personally and professionally.
Let's see. I'm short, simple, straight to the point.
Here we go.
Professionally, you hit the nail on the head. So I am a confidence and success curator for leaders and founders, women who are leaders and founders. And basically I help them. I'm not going to say help. I hate using the word help. I partner with women leaders and founders and help them thrive, navigate, and lead with confidence in those diversity challenge spaces. So the spaces that were not created for us.
Come on.
But when we get into these spaces, everyone's talking about breaking glass ceilings and becoming entrepreneurs. So my purpose and my passion is basically just helping you get through that space, helping you thrive in those spaces that again weren't created for us. So that's on one aspect. And then more so the other layer of professionally wise, I am a cross-functional leader.
Okay.
So I am experiencing the best of both worlds. I am not a full-time entrepreneur. I am foot in corporate world and foot in entrepreneur world. That way I can utilize my gifts to the best of my abilities.
Come on.
Um, Personally, I am a woman of God. That's first
Come
and
on.
foremost. I am a wife. I am a mother, mom of 5, bonus mom to 3, and
Come
a
on.
grandma to 1.
Come
So I
on.
call my folks my grade 8. That's my squad.
Squad.
um, Also a daughter, an aunt, a niece, all the cousin, a friend. I like to consider myself a girl's girl, so I definitely have a circle of a strong team. So that's me in a nutshell, professionally and personally.
Come on. So you are definitely a cross-functional leader, not just in your professional world, but in home life, okay? Because 5A, the grade 8, and then wife. I know wife was new what a couple of years ago.
Yep.
Oh
Wife
my
is new.
God. And grandma. Come on.
And grandma. So when you said I'm a leader personally, the 8-year-old and the glam baby, I'm gonna say they're the leaders of the,
I
of
know
the
that's right.
group. They
And it
run
be
this
that
house.
young, it be the young ones that tell you that they in charge.
Not me.
Yeah. Okay, all right. Well, let's go ahead and move right along. I want to talk about, just for those timing and how we're going to do the flow. I know y'all already know because I've um, giving y'all background stuff with the emails and stuff that I sent y'all. But so both of you agreed, of course, for the live coaching session, which is a little bit different from the conversations that most people are more accustomed to seeing, where it's more so an interview type of thing. But each of you were to come prepared with questions and express concerns regarding your life or business. Please make sure you focus on my niche, okay? or just gaining clarity around your God-given vision, purpose, gifts, talents. If you want to discuss, explore any ideas, concepts, concerns, needs, anything about aligning your business with God's vision and purpose for your life. Okay, that's where we want to stay in. Kind of broad, so you can really take it anywhere you want to go. But just make sure you stay somewhere in there. I'm going to be constantly moving my head between taking notes when you're talking, between checking the comments to see what's going on. Don't allow that to distract you. I am actively listening, but my memory is like a squirrel. Okay. So, it comes and goes and it tries to, make a car's crash. Okay. So, I do have to take notes. Once we kick things off, I'm not sure who I put to come in front first. We'll go back and forth, so it won't be, we'll start with Richara and it'll be all Richara, and then we'll go to Janine and Richara will just be sitting there. I'll do one question, come back, give you time to think of your next question, and bounce back and forth until the time is up. It's important that we remain as organic, authentic, and relaxed as possible. I'm y'all's homegirl. All right. Just act like it's just us. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to push you. If you saw my last coaching live, I'm going to push you to say even things that you may not want to say. Okay. But speaking about saying things you don't want to say, don't say anything that you don't want to be on YouTube forever. Okay. So be mindful of that, because I will be putting it up on YouTube and it will stay on LinkedIn and things of that nature. So be absolutely comfortable with the public knowing this is live, it is recorded, and it will go up on YouTube. It is up on Facebook and Instagram and all of that. Please don't monopolize the time. I'm one to talk because I'm the queen of running my mouth too much. Mm-hmm. So we all gonna try, okay? And for those of you who are watching live, engage in the comments. Maybe you have a piece of advice to offer us. Maybe you have a question for Janine or Richara. Please engage. I'll be watching the comments as best as I can to be able to present those to whomever you have them for throughout today's live broadcast. This is a group session, not just us three. It could be more than us three. All right. I think that's it. Y'all good?
Yes,
We're
ma'am.
good.
Y'all ready?
Let's break it. Come on.
All right. Who want to go? I didn't even put a name in here for who going first. Who want to go first?
Janine was going first.
Girl, she done put me on the spot. I got you, girl.
I'm volunteering Janine to go first.
So I'm not gonna lie, LJ, you stumped me when you said ask a question for clarity, because I don't think I know everything. That I'm far from that. But I feel like where I am, just backstory in my life right now, like I feel like whenever I'm confused about something, I go to God first. I wasn't always like that, but I have a dedicated time that I have really cut out over the last 2 years, where I'm spending time with the Lord first in the morning. I'm praying, because I used to do it at night, but then I was falling asleep. So it's like, okay, you're praying, but oh, I woke up. That was a long prayer. So, clarity wise and business wise, I was going to ask for your recommendations. Like, I'm big into self development, and here lately, I've had more time to spend reading. um, so for the past 2 years, I was in school. So I was getting my master's in business administration. So I
Okay.
feel like all my reading time went to schoolwork, but now I have more leisure reading time. And I've read a couple books lately, mostly faith-based books. And I was going to ask you, with your niche and clarity, do you have any literature or websites or resources that you recommend outside of the Bible, of course, that give you clarity in business or help you with business, doing business as a Christian? Do you have any recommendations on any books like that, or just even YouTube channels? It doesn't have to be a book per se.
Right. So Believe Bigger by Marshawn Evans Daniels. Have you ever heard of her?
I don't think so.
Okay. So her is Marshawn, let me Marshawn. Evans is her maiden name, but I think it's now her middle name.
Hmm.
Daniels,
Okay.
I would absolutely
Okay.
suggest that you go get that book yesterday.
Okay.
Okay. Especially because you're in a transition. You're leaving school, right?
Hmm.
You're doing your business. And from what I'm gleaning is you're trying to gain clarity on what's your exact next step, maybe, you
Hmm.
know, like where's God leading you? What I also sense in the spirit is he's told you.
Oh yeah, he did. I
Yeah.
looked at it today.
Yeah. He's already told you. And you keep saying I need to read, and maybe that's a bit of an excuse. And I need to do more self-development. He's giving you the tools. I mean, we come with the tools, right?
Hmm.
We don't necessarily need um anybody's confirmation through by way of self-development course, self-development books, YouTube channel to do what God has already set for us. We just need to be aligned with God, right?
Hmm.
Being community is just to encourage us to keep going, right? So let me hear about what God has told you to do, because that's what we're running for.
Oh, I know I'm supposed to go back to school.
Okay.
I've done everything except the application. And the
Okay.
reason is not to have the accolade of PhD.
Okay.
It's not for that or for the title. Yes, that is good, especially for women of color,
Okay.
because I think the percentage is like 1 or 2% of us have that educational status.
Mm-hmm.
But God has told me that there are a certain demographic who don't believe in Him,
Mm.
who want to see a person that looks like them on their same level, because the level is all physical,
Okay.
but be able to minister to them. And
Uh-huh.
this is not with writing resumes only, because I do have a lot of clients that have PhDs, DBAs, or some
Mm-hmm.
type of doctoral degree, but this is like for ministry purposes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that God, I mean, God already told me I can reach them, but one of the things would be a PhD opens other rooms for you to be in, if that
Okay.
makes sense.
Okay. So
So,
what's your industry?
like by trade, I was in healthcare, but I wouldn't be going back for that. I want to teach. So I'm adjunct teaching now very sparingly, like very,
Okay.
very sparingly.
And what
Um,
are you teaching? What's your subject matter?
career. But I
Career.
would move out of that because I would prefer to teach business or communication. So my bachelor's degree is in healthcare communication, which focused a lot on like public relations, things like that. So I desire to teach communication or some form of entrepreneurship,
Okay.
and to be more marketable as well. They
Okay.
do prefer the higher education.
Okay. So in 60 seconds or less, take me through your process of um onboarding a client that needs resume services.
So in 60 seconds or less, my ideal client hits the website. We don't
Okay.
ever have a conversation beforehand.
Hmm.
Sometimes they do, but my ideal client, they'll just go on there. They know my reputation, they book and pay.
Okay.
They sign a client. Go ahead.
So I'm sorry. I think I've confused you with the question. Take me through what benchmarks they hit through working with you. So I know I said on board, which that
Uh-huh.
probably was a wrong term. So if I am interested in resumes with Neen and my resume is crud, what do you do? Like, tell me steps, literal steps that you take them through. Is it I
Oh,
edit
okay.
their presentation or I give them a model? Tell it to me that way. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Mhm.
So we look at their old resume first. From there, we can gather where they have worked. If there's anything they need to add, which there always is, we create a customized resume questionnaire. So, what that looks like is we go through each line of their resume and we align it with the new job they're going for or the industry they're going for.
Mhm.
We ask them questions about every single line. So
Mhm.
no two clients are the same. So no two clients ever get the same questionnaire. So we ask them questions about every single line to pull out metrics, data, and accomplishments.
Okay.
And then we send that to them. They fill it out. We get it back. Now they filled it out in layman's terms, so we're going to write it in, of course, professional resume language.
Mm-hmm.
Once we write it, um, it goes back to them. They have 2 opportunities for revisions, and then we finalize it. Is that what you wanted to know?
Yep. Okay.
Okay. That's
So
like a high level overview. That
good.
doesn't
That's exactly what I
include.
wanted.
Okay.
Okay. So now I'm about to I'm gonna challenge you, and pauses are okay with this session. You too, Rashard, while you're waiting for your turn. Pause is okay. Don't think that you have to fill up every moment. We can take a pause if you need to think through. I want you to take those steps that you have created or God has led you to do with your resume building process or resume improvement process, and now translate that into how you would um, use that in the next in where you see God is leading you. You said something about how you want to make people show up better because there's not a lot of us, and I need this credential because I can only get into certain rooms. How would you use those steps to get you there? Does that make sense?
The resume writing steps.
Mm-hmm. So don't look at it in the minutia of it, right? I don't want you to look at it in the literal, right?
Right. Figuratively.
Somebody presents a product to you that is that is not of standard to what God has gifted you to do. You then use your process that God has given you to take it to another level, right?
Mhm.
So you said you're telling me that you see God leading you into an industry where you're not where people are not. What did you say? You said something earlier about people showing up.
Oh, I said there's only about 2% of people that have the PhD, but it's not about that. It's more was about um, the PhDs I have encountered. If I'm just being transparent, they
Mm-hmm.
believe a lot of them that I have encountered don't believe in God. They believe in
Mm-hmm.
something else,
Right.
or it's all different things they're doing. So a lot of times when Jesus and the disciples went out, they mingled with people,
Right.
they got to know people, but sometimes that industry of people don't mingle with people who are not in their industry.
Right.
In higher education, sometimes you can be so smart and you have everything you need that you don't feel like you need God.
Right.
So, me, I do like school, of course, but me going into that type of industry, I can just be down to earth and show that, yeah, you do need God at every level, even with this type of education. The Lord is the one that provides you with your right mind to be in these spaces.
Right.
And so tell me
Right.
your question again.
Okay. Okay. Got you. So I'm clear now on what you said earlier.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So what I am perceiving from what you just said is the reason why you sense that God is leading you to get a PhD is not necessarily for the accolade, it's for the audience,
Yes.
right?
Hmm.
You sense that God is leading you. Your target audience is PhDs who
Yes.
don't found value in having a relationship with God, correct?
Hmm.
Right. So, what I'm trying to connect for you is to make you see is how God uses everything that you have already done to give you what you need to make that connection with them. So, if God is sending you to a population where their resume on paper, they the truth, but you know that their resume could even be more with God, I challenge you. I'm going to give you time to think about it. We'll go to Rashara to look at those steps. While we go to Rashara, I want you to write down those high level steps that you
Hmm.
just told me, and say, how can I use these same benchmark steps that I have in my resume process to get a non-believer PhD to realize that their resume or their accolades would be even better if they were with God. Does that make sense?
Oh, I got what you're saying now.
Okay, you got it, or do you have an answer? You need time.
No, I think I have an answer for you.
Okay, go ahead. Let's hear it.
So basically through your actions. So I post a lot about the Lord,
Mm-hmm.
but through people's interactions with me, I hope that they can see the Lord through me and see
Mm-hmm.
that, hey, this girl is different. Even in situations with clients where they're highly escalated, they might be irritated with something, but I don't ever go there with them. And then they come back and circle back and say, oh, you handled that well. I'm sorry I was speaking at you that way or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. I think the answer that you might be looking for would be just through my interact, not a step, but wherever an opportunity presents itself. Because my clients do talk to me about a lot of things too,
Mm-hmm.
including personal stuff. So I end up being like coach, but
Mm-hmm.
not anything that crosses over that they need therapy, of course. But just in the little nuggets that I drop, it would be seeds. I'm not trying to win anybody because God
Mm-hmm.
does that work, but
Mm-hmm.
just being more of a light in
Okay.
my industry.
So you giving me church, which is good. Okay. You giving me that we're the light of the world, the salt of the earth, which is great, right? So what's coming back to my memory, refresh my memory. You talked about in your process where you have a questionnaire and you go line by line and they tell you and you produce metrics, right?
Mhm.
In your process?
They give me the metrics so that we can add it to their resume.
Right, right. So think future Janine. I have a PhD. God has given me an audience of PhD professionals, right? And you're running into PhDs that think they have made it. They have attained wherever they are, right?
Mhm.
But you know there's greater value to be gained in their presentation of themselves, right? Whether it's through their resume, their accolades, or what have you. Using that same process, is there not a program you can put them through to gain that greater value for themselves that will lead them to Christ overall? You don't think you have that? Do you think you have that in you?
A program? And
Yeah.
what you mean?
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what you
So
mean.
you're Neen, you make
No, I don't know what you mean. I'm not gonna
okay.
act like I know.
I'm trying to expand your vision. It's okay. Okay.
Okay.
So bear with me. You just left school.
Hmm.
You have created a phenomenal business on resume writing. You have already been in the audience with a wide variety of people, from military professionals to PhDs. You told me that your next has to do with you getting a PhD so you can gain entry to who the people that God has called you to. And you want to get a PhD in the form of teaching, right?
Yes, because I do want to teach
Right, because you want to teach. But what
in the
I
university setting, not necessarily like teaching my business. You,
Yes,
okay.
not teaching your
Okay.
business, right? You want to teach. So, what I'm saying is, you already have the tools right now to teach.
Hmm.
You already have a curriculum to teach because you have mastered somebody bringing you a product at one level and you process taking it through a process to get them to another level. God has already given you an audience because you said you already run into PhDs. So what I'm saying is it may not just be I need to go back to school just so I can gain an audience. Maybe it's God saying, I'm highlighting the audience that you need to be impacting, and you already have the teaching curriculum to teach them to their next best. Does that scare you? Because the way you're looking at me.
No, I'm trying to understand.
Okay.
I want to teach in a university setting, so I would have to be more marketable and get hired. That's why I want the PhD.
Right, right. But
Yeah.
what I'm saying is, right? I'm not knocking you on that. right? You
Mhm.
can still get that PhD. I think that's where God has you going to get that PhD. But what I'm saying is, you're holding on to the PhD to execute what you want to do. But I'm telling you, God has something for you to do right now that you can do right now to get you in front of
Oh,
those people.
yes. I'm sorry. Yeah. I maybe I said that wrong, but I'm doing that now. I'm saying my next, like for a job, because entrepreneurship is up and down. One month you might make a couple thousand, the next month it might be zero. So for my stable income, I want to teach.
Okay.
Now, right, what I'm doing right now, I am teaching people now when I do like one-on-one sessions with my clients. But most of my clients just want us to write it for them, and then maybe they'll learn later.
Okay. Okay. We're going to take a pause. We're going to put a pin in it.
Okay, because I'm not sure. I feel like I'm you're misunderstanding me.
I think, no, 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 no. I think we're going in a roundabout way, and I'm having a hard time articulating where the point I'm trying to prove to you is. And I don't know if we're going to take a pause, and I'm going to go to Richard, and maybe Richard can help me. And then we'll come back to that. But I want you to think of, what can you do now that you're not already doing besides enrolling back in school? Can you think on that?
Sure.
What is the next, right? I believe that you're in a period of time where God has something more for you to do now. And it has everything to do with where you see yourself going, that you've already articulated where you're going with the teaching. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
Are you sure?
I think I haven't explained everything I do now. I mean, I teach a small group at church. I teach, I'm preparing classes to teach, like doing webinars. I get, I kind of don't get what you're saying.
Okay. Rashard, help me out because I feel like you can.
I think, and let me put some down to see if y'all pick it up. I
Okay.
think, Janine, what you're saying is the PhD adds another layer of credibility, right? That you need in that university level space. Is that where we're
Yes.
going? Okay.
Yes.
Mhm.
And
Not credibility for me to have confidence
yeah,
in
credibility
teaching.
for them to get you into those
Yeah.
rooms.
Right.
Yeah, those
Yeah.
spaces that you want to go in. And LJ, I think what you're saying is there's another layer of credibility, or there's another layer that she could do to add the value from another person's point of view, because she's confident and comfortable in navigating these spaces, right? Like,
Right.
it's go time. Maybe there's something bigger that God has to complement the PhD. So don't let the PhD hold you back
Right.
from that. But maybe there's something else that
Right.
goes along with what you're already doing, that you're already, adjunct instructing and all those things. But maybe it's another layer that's not necessarily that PhD in that moment. Does that make
Right.
sense?
Yes.
I'm trying to bring it home. Does that make sense? You can
Yes.
tell me no if it don't.
No, I'm trying to, and I'm trying to make sense of it too. So, if you see this, you just graduated school, right? And we know you're going to go here just for the credibility piece. What I'm saying is, I sense that there's something right here in between
That's
that
what I'm
God
doing right
has for you
now.
to do, that is a step between resume by Neen and your credibility point in your life. Does that make sense?
So between what you're doing now and the PhD, so you're doing the thing now. The question mark, like you said, is the thing that you're doing now. So it might be another
I think
stone to grab.
yes.
Okay.
Janine is
Something.
not with it.
Janine, we'll talk later.
Yes.
we'll take it all three of us, and take it off camera later.
Yes. We're gonna put a pin in that, okay? And
Okay.
come back
Let's
to
go to
it.
Richara.
Okay, let's go to Richard and then we'll come back to
I was
you.
trying to keep it over on there on you. Okay.
No, we'll come back. It's all right.
Okay. All right, let me see what I got for you. So, like Neen, I
Mhm.
struggled with, because you told us come prepared with a question, and I struggled in this moment because one, I wanted to make sure that I could contribute meaningfully
Mhm.
to this coaching session in a way that brought and it was able to showcase all of the amazingness that you have, and that you bring to the table. And then the second part is because I had a hard time articulating. Um, how to put all of the things into words without it being jumbled up. So that's
Uh-huh.
my disclaimer right there. Um, so I'm gonna try it this way as I sit here, allowing God to put the words on my lips so it all comes together. So when it comes to my
Mhm.
vision, right? When it comes to my vision, my mission, and my purpose, I'm clear and confident in with all three.
Okay.
So vision being empowering professional women to confidently lead and thrive in those diversity challenge spaces and industries. Um, so we can create a future where women are recognized and valued for their leadership and their contributions.
Okay.
Mission in a sense of to provide women in corporate and entrepreneurship with the tools and the strategies and all the things, right? The confidence that's needed to achieve their personal and professional goals through, what I offer: coaching, strategic consulting, and actionable resources. Going down to the purpose, to inspire and support women in realizing their full potential, um, breaking the barriers and leading with confidence in their careers and businesses. So I say all that to say, like, I'm clear, comfortable, confident on my three, right?
Right.
So the issue lies in two areas for me. It's my gifts and God's plan,
Okay.
and then it's the visibility aspect of it.
Okay.
So when I say my gifts and God's plan, I view my gifts as something that God gave me to help others. And I've
Okay.
always felt that staying this, I like to say, the best kept secret, right? Staying this person behind the scenes has allowed me to keep the substance and the impact of my work without the distractions of public recognition. And
Okay.
so, Lauren, you and I joke all the time, like, we're going to pop out on LinkedIn and then we're going to pop away. We're going to pop that,
Right.
our little pop out season. And so a lot of that goes into just behind the scenes part of me. Like, I have my gifts and I don't want to necessarily have it distracted by public recognition, which takes me to the second part of the visibility concern. So my concern is becoming more visible um, brings on the spirit of the fear of falling short. So not necessarily falling short because of lack of confidence, but falling short as a result of getting lost in this sea of too many voices that are in these spaces now. Like, I know I'm my own competition, but it feels like it becomes a matter of, hey, pick me, look at me, look at me. And so if I was to simplify everything I was saying, believing that the gifts are meant to serve others quietly and effectively, from the behind the scenes and the struggling with the visibility, I want to make sure that I honor God with my gifts and ensure that my actions align with his purpose for me. And so, is that purpose to be more visible or to keep my gifts behind the scenes? Because, and it goes into kind of a little bit of aspect of, the charging, the money mindset blocks, right?
Mhm.
But that's kind of the crossroads where I'm at. Like, is God's vision for me aligning with my kind of behind the scenes with my gifts? Or is he like, I didn't give you your gifts to play with them behind the scenes. I gave you your gifts to share with the masses.
Okay. So I have a question, and this is kind of a question for both of you. Why is it? Who told y'all that visibility, when you're doing the work of the Lord, whether in business, whether in home life, whether professional, whatever the sector is, why does visibility and credibility matter so much to both of you?
I think in a sense of visibility, in the space of entrepreneurship, you hear, like, if you're not seen, they don't know. And I hold strong on to, I operate in a space of organic word of mouth now, which is crazy because one of my levels of expertise, if somebody comes to me and say, hey, create a marketing plan for me, create, sales strategy plan for me, I can do it. I'm a beast at that. But that's because they're at that space where they know without a shadow of a doubt that their gift, they want to have it more visible. They want to be more visible. But I'm saying in a sense of importance because I love staying in the space of being the best kept secret. Right? I love staying in that space. But on the flip side of that, none of us got into entrepreneurship not to make any money unless we're in a nonprofit section, right? That sector, right?
Right.
And so a part of the getting to the bag is you do have to be visible.
Right. So that's what the world standards say, right?
Yes.
So I'm thinking of, and I unmuted you, Neen, just because it seems like there's a connection between the credibility. Do you want to answer the question before I give
Oh
my?
yeah.
Go
I'm
ahead.
visible, of course, on social media because
Oh,
that's
we
part of
know
my
you are.
marketing
You're the most consistent
strategy.
person I know.
Yeah, that's part of my marketing
Neen
strategy.
is gold.
But like a few years ago when I had surgery, I wasn't visible because I wasn't able to post, nor could I hire somebody, and God still provided. So I don't feel like the marketing, I don't depend more on marketing than I do on the Lord's provision because
Right.
He's going to send provision.
Right.
As far as the credibility, um, I'm not sure what you're asking, but if that's going back to schooling, it's because in those spaces, they hire those people with that type of education. So it's not for me to feel credible. It's because I want to make money in those spaces, and that's a step they require. Yeah.
So I think about the story of Esther. Are y'all familiar with the story of Esther and
Come on, bring it to me. Give me
Mordecai?
one-on-one.
All right, so I call it the when God turned a hoe into a housewife story. Okay, because Mordecai, Lord, Esther was sent. What was it? King, was that King Nebuchadnezzar? One of them kings. Okay, they were coming after the Jews, and basically Esther was sent in because of her lineage or what have you, and she ended up being one of those call girls for the kings, and because of her presence in the in the kingdom that she was a part of, she saved the Jews, right? And Mordecai was her cousin, uncle. Y'all gonna have to read it. I'll send you the scripture or what have you. And he would be behind the scenes, the best kept secret, because had the king found out that Esther was doing what she was doing, going back and forth and talking, there would have been some problems. And he would push and encourage Esther to do what she needed to do to save the people, right? And there's a scripture that talked about you were sent for such a time as this, right? And that the reason why I'm bringing that up is a lot of times God doesn't need any of what the world has made to do anything that he has for us to do. But it has to be what he wants us to do, not we want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are to empower women, give them tools and strategy, add value and inspire, if you are, Janine, positioning your life to add value to those who already think that they are valuable because you know what it is to be aligned with kingdom principle, there's not a degree or a visible outlet that y'all could use to get you there.
Oh yeah, I'm clear on that.
Yeah.
Right? So I want y'all, instead of spending so much time on, I need to make money, your gifts will make room for you and bring you in front of great people. And a lot of times it's about God's timing, right? So a lot of us may be not hitting those milestones in our finances because it's just not the time of God yet. He's still working things out of us. He's still processing us. And he wants us to work on the right now and iron the kink. So when he does send us in that room of PhDs, when he does send us in those rooms that a lot of us are not in, we're ready with the product that we've been working on. So I think right now for both of you all, it's a matter of redefining what is God having you work on now? And what is it masterful enough, or is there another level that he needs to take you on? Because I'm gonna be honest, Janine, you might find that you may not need no PhD to get yourself in front of the people that you think you need. Because if you're already working on resumes for people that are already PhD people, then you're already in front of your target audience. You don't need to, if you want to do traditional teaching because that's you want to do it, or is that what God is telling you he wants you to do?
No, that's what I desire to do, and that's what God has told me I should do. Like I was in a corporate space. I
Mm-hmm.
want to be able to work in a space that you have your summers off, or I might work a semester and then not work a semester so I can juggle back in my business. I don't ever want to go back into, if I don't have to, a full-time 9 to 5 that's so structured. I did that for 13 years, and that's not what would like to do, what I desire to do. And
Okay.
before I left that, I do want to be clear. I prayed and fasted. God gave me the okay to leave. So I didn't just quit my job because, oh, I'm going to school. I'm going to quit my job and go to school and do my business. Like everything is strategically ordained by the Lord. So I'm not just making decisions on a whim.
No, and I'm not perceiving you in that way.
Mhm.
But I'm just saying what's holding you back from doing it now?
Going to school?
No, 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 no. What's holding you back from teaching now without the confines? I feel like you're just okay, and
To be
maybe
more
I'm getting you wrong.
marketable. Yeah, to be more
But
marketable
you
in those spaces because I have applied and gotten tons of rejection letters. Like the requirement is a DBA or a PhD. I'm not basing my confidence or my ability on that.
mhm.
I'm saying, like, if you want to be a nurse, you got to go get that RN and then the state board. You can't say God's just going to get me there. They're not going to hire you without the state board
No,
passing.
no, no, no. And I
Yeah,
understand that. We're just. I think we're struggling to get on the same page.
I think so.
What I'm saying is, what I perceive that you've said to me is that the PhD, I know you don't need it for the confidence, the credentials, you're divinely credentialed. I get that. You need the audience and the space and the place. But there are avenues.
Mhm.
The Are you saying that? Are you?
I'm saying when I get in those spaces, I
Mhm.
can relate and reach people for Christ in those spaces while I am working in a corporate type, not corporate, but in a higher education facility. So
Okay.
I'm not just going there to just work and make money. Of course, I'm going there to be a light and show people of that caliber that, hey,
Mhm.
I'm just like you, but I believe in the Lord for those who don't. Because wherever we're working at, we should be a light and be a witness for the Lord.
And
Yeah.
that's not what's in question. So I guess I took when you first presented your question that besides just the self development books, is that um, you are already clear on what your next step is, and that's just going to school. Um,
Yeah. And I think that's why I had a really hard time picking a question
mhm.
because I feel like I'm clear and I'm just in a holding season where I'm
Okay.
working my business, I'm saving money, I'm
Mhm.
able to volunteer more at church and serve more. I'm able to do more if somebody asks me. Like, I had a friend whose sister died earlier this year. I was able to help her with the funeral, like
Okay.
not be tied to a job because I can make my schedule with this, with my
Okay.
business. So I'm clear on that. I'm just in a holding and I'm not frustrated because
Okay.
this is where God has me right now.
Okay.
And I've never had a break. So I'm enjoying just running my business, even though it is stressful some months. Because I mean, I can't control the ebb and flow of, oh, I'm going to get 10 clients this month. It doesn't always work like that.
Yeah. Oh, trust me,
Yeah.
I know.
But I trust the Lord
Right.
and I'm, I just trust that He has my back. Like, so
Okay.
I'm good on that end.
So you're clear on your next. So you're in holding. You're next. You're clear on God's vision for you. You're clear on the purpose. You're clear on your gifting, and you feel totally aligned in this moment. You're just in a place of holding.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we
I
just
thought
did a
we were answering
roundabout
a question.
for
I thought
you.
we were like sharing our testimonies initially when I first got your email. So
No.
that would be that's a my bad. I am
Okay.
clear on those things.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right. Well, you be in holding now when we go back to Richard. I'm in. Okay. All right. So now I'm clear on where you are. Rashard, let's come back to you. So let's talk about your visibility some more. You
Mm-hmm.
know, God has
So
given you the gift of being behind the scenes. So go ahead and give me your feedback on what I said earlier.
yes, so he's given me the gift, and like I said, my happy space is behind the scenes because I do struggle with, okay, well, if these are gifts, I've been giving these gifts to do something with, and to do something with in this other capacity. However, my transition and kind of in between holding space is, okay, God, I hear you. You want me to take this to the masses, right? You
Mm-hmm.
want me to, and that's where the visibility comes from. Like, I can't get to
Right.
the masses if I'm not visible.
Right.
So my issue is, how can I make sure that I'm becoming visible and staying true to my faith and my values without it looking like, hey, pick me, pick me, pick me? Because
Right.
I do thrive on the word of mouth. I do thrive
Right.
on the, hey, this is what you get. This is, I am who you see. I'm very transparent. This is my gift. This is my power. And once I make the connection with individuals, they're able to see it.
Right.
But the struggle and the transition is, okay, God, I hear you. You want me to
Right.
be visible. Anybody that knows me, they'll tell you that I will have speaking engagements come my way and things like this. And I'm like, no, like I will run, but God keeps bringing them back. He keeps bringing
Mm-hmm.
them back. He keeps bringing them back. And that's the struggle that I have is, what are the, what's the strategy, or what's kind of like the process to guide me to step into the visibility in a way that it remains, like I said, remains true to my values, but also making sure that it aligns with his vision. Because I know my vision, right?
Right.
We know my vision, I know my purpose, I know my mission, but how do I get it to align with his vision?
Right. So the vision that you gave me earlier is just for your business, correct? Or the conceptual Rashara?
I'm gonna say it's the full make of me. So
Okay.
even outside of business, if anybody meets me and they go into, and that's why I give a lot of my stuff away for free, because
Mm-hmm.
they catch me in the zone where I don't have this entrepreneur hat. I'm Riri, I'm Richara at this moment, and
Okay.
I'm just, you know, giving it away for free. So
Okay.
it's
So I'm
both.
going to take you through a quick exercise. Janine, feel free to join if you want. Okay.
Okay.
So this is how I teach vision, purpose, and mission. Okay. Vision is where you want to go. It's a visual depiction of where God is sending you to, right? At any point in your life, because vision is expansive and it evolves, your vision at a moment's time could be this, but then you go a little further in life and it begins to expand, right? So I want you to think of a mental picture of your head that might even came up when you were a child of what God says you were. Don't think of it in its professional terms, right? It could be, I had a vision that I saw myself on a stage, right? I had a vision that I was talking to people and um, encouraging them to do double dutch. You know, think that small, right? Think that minute, all right? Don't think, oh, it is to empower the world and make them be the best that they can be. It doesn't have to be avant garde, it can be small, okay? Purpose is about a state of being. It's not about what you do, it's about who you be. Purpose is about when you step in the room, you don't even have to open your mouth. You don't even have to say a word. What do people always see? What do people always say? What do people always see about you? For example, for myself, my purpose is to lead. You would think that that can also be a mission statement because I'm going to get to that next. Your mission is what you do. Your mission is transactional. Your mission is transitional. It changes all the time. But purpose is about who you be, right? I could step into a room and people will call on me to do something without even knowing that leadership is in my back pocket at all the time. So I want you to think about, in 8 words or less, for each one of those, What is your vision? What is your purpose? And what is your mission? Your vision is where you're going, what you once saw, where you're headed towards. Your purpose is who you be. I know that's not proper grammar. It's who you be. And your mission is what you do.
Vision, and you actually hit it. Seeing myself on a stage, which is crazy coming from the introvert.
Okay.
But it does go back to childhood. Goes back to my days when my cousin used to force me to do some Janet Jackson moves. We just knew we were going to be on somebody's stage. But so vision wise, purpose. When I walk in a room, I naturally feel like my purpose is to inspire.
Okay. Inspire how?
Inspire in a sense that I'm confident and comfortable in my skin of who I am, but inspiring others to do the same.
Okay. So your purpose is to be an inspiration.
Yes.
Right? Because it's a state of being, right? So, and how you're being a inspiration is you're an example when you step out into the world. Okay. Right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
In your mission work right now, because that changes.
It does change because I don't blew these businesses and things up 5, 50, 11 times. Mission wise, it still goes back to coaching and consulting.
Okay.
It still goes back to that. And kind of two different aspects and layers of that. The coaching is pulling the things out of the folks that they already know. Like you already have it in you. So my goal as a coach is just to pull it out of you. And then consulting in a sense of, okay, now you're coming and you're asking me the questions and I'm going to pull it from myself, the experiences that I've had, and that's what I'm going to consult, on. So it's those two lanes, which now that I say that out loud makes total sense why I have the two different businesses. One is straight coaching and the other one is straight consulting, because I don't want to merge the two, but I want to keep them separate. So I would say the mission is in those two areas, but I'll add a third.
Okay.
The speaking is what's pulling. It's what's God continuously pulling on me. And I'm like, I see myself on a stage, but it's not necessarily as the keynote. Right. I see myself on a stage because I'm more of a person. I don't want to prepare anything. You're not going to get the best version of me if I'm delivering a 2-hour long thing. Now, that's not to say, because I don't want to talk myself out of some stuff. That's not to say I can't do it, but I am more of, God, put me on a panel. Let them ask me the questions, because that's when you're going to get the gold. That's when you're going to get the gems, when you hit me just out of the blue.
Okay.
So
put a pin in that.
Okay.
Okay. What about you, Neen? What's your vision?
Where I'm going would be eventually to teach and entrepreneur on the side. Purpose. So go ahead.
So with your vision, when you were young, were you always looking to teach? Or did it
No, that
look
just came
different?
about since recently when I'm making a career change.
Okay. So when you were from 0 to 25, what are some things that kept coming up that you kept feeling God pulling you toward? It could have been teaching.
Nothing, because I wasn't serious with God.
Okay. But even if you're not serious with God, He still speaks. He still shows up, right? You may not have been discerning of His voice, right? But what were some things that you always saw yourself involved in or doing as a kid, as a teenager, as a young adult?
Honestly, I always just said I was going to grow up and go to school. Really, yeah.
Okay.
That's about it. Well, I wanted to be a nurse at one point, but once I got in clinicals, I realized I didn't like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. What about purpose? Purpose is a state of being.
So I have a love-hate relationship with that word, because I feel like we make, as believers, purpose an idol, because the only thing God put us here to do is to spread His gospel. But I get what you're asking, but that's the only.
But He has gifted each of us to do that in different ways. Yeah. And that's what makes up your individual purpose. So while I'm not glamorizing purpose or
Yes.
put it in on a pedestal or making it an idol. There is a
Oh, I didn't
specific
think you were.
niche within there that has Janine's name on it. So I'm wondering what you believe your niche and how you do that.
For
What
right
is your purpose?
now, it would be to, I'm a believer in the resume writing space, in the career space, because I mean, there's not a lot of writers who's talking so openly about their faith. I'm very
Mm-hmm.
bold with that online, but offline, like that's my, that's who I am. So I can't separate that from resume writing, which is my purpose right now.
Okay. So your purpose, you believe your overall purpose in lieu of just Janine, not necessarily your business, is to be a woman of faith.
That's all of our overall purpose. If
I,
we're believers, is to
I hear
the
you,
Great
but
Commission.
I'm trying to get you.
No, I get what you're saying, but like the Great Commission was what Christ commissioned us to do when he went back up.
But he
So
gives us specific exploits. If you look in Second
yes,
Corinthians, it talks about all the gifts of the Spirit. So in the diversity of tongues, so there is diversity in what God has us do in the earth that
yes,
leads to the ultimate commission. So I'm not
yes.
disagreeing with you or discounting you, but I'm trying to get you to communicate what has Neen's name on it. Like if
Right now.
Richara is to be an inspiration, right? That's how
Okay.
she lives out and fulfills the great commission that we all have. What is your specific niche in the faith or in the great
So
commission, if that makes sense?
right now, I would still say teaching,
Teaching.
because yes, whether it's teaching resume writing or teaching the word.
Okay. All right. So
Yes.
your mission, the doing is the resume, the word, teaching the word and things of that nature. Am I correct?
For right
For right
now, my
now,
mission
right.
would be the
So the
resumes.
mission is always about the right now because that can
Yeah.
change tomorrow.
Yeah, that would be the resumes and the coaching, job searching is
Okay.
what I would be the mission
Okay.
for right now.
Okay. All right. So both of y'all are in a position where you want to be more marketable, right? Visibility is a thing for Rashara. What I believe for you, Rashara, right, is it's time for you to start pitching. But before you do that, I think it's time for you to scale down and choose what you're going to prioritize and focus on. And if God is calling you to the speaking world, I'm sure you can find your speaking topics, your objectives, all of that from the work that you've already done. See, God is a simple God. We complicate him, right?
Yeah.
I He doesn't call us to fathom what the majesty of who he is because it's too complicated for us for us to fathom, right? But what he wants us to do on this earth is simple. It's already on the inside of us, right? So for you, I would suggest for the first time is to scale down temporarily and focus on one thing, right? Because I think what's holding you back from being as visible is you don't have the time.
Yes.
Because you got two different businesses and God calling you to speaking. And what I sense just through this one coaching, live coaching that we got to wrap up soon is that the reason why you don't have time to put forth the effort in being more visible, not because you need the credibility or the people you don't believe that it's going to come, is because your hands are tied. You got 8 grandbabies. I mean, you got eight.
Don't
I
give me
mean, you
eight
got the
grandbabies
great
now.
eight. I'm sorry.
The
You
great
got
eight.
And
one
half
grandbaby and you got your kids and your bonus kids.
and they
You're a
grown.
mom and a wife. You got two businesses. So you need to pick a business,
Hmm.
focus on that, and start pitching. Okay, you want to do panels? Do more podcasts. Get into some people's email inboxes and say, "Hey, can I come on your show?"
Yeah.
Or double it down. Use some of the resources that you have in reserve from the one company, and bring on somebody just to come on to do 2 hours of pitching a day for you.
Yeah, and that makes sense. I like that. If bringing someone on to do the pitching, because like I said, my struggle is
Right.
that, like, I can sell myself, put me in a room, but it's the
Yeah.
fact of, does it align, right? Like,
You don't need to worry about that because you've made it clear. You're very clear on God's mission, vision, and purpose for your life.
I hope so. No, I'm clear on mine.
Yes. You
So is mine God's?
listen, that's for you and God.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
I think the more you seek him, he'll show you and
He'll
confirm
show
his
up.
presence.
Exactly.
Even through like talking with LJ, like
Yeah,
he will already tell you, like somebody's not going to tell you something God hadn't already told you.
Exactly. A lot of
confirmation.
times when I work with people who want to know their purpose or who want to get clear on God's vision, it's not that they don't already know, it's that they don't have the confidence and the courage to live into what they already know.
Mm-hmm. Running from
So
it.
you're very clear. It was easy for you to say, "Oh yeah, boom, 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 boom." And your business work is a byproduct of what you already do in life. So for both of y'all both just wasted my time on this live coaching because
Don't do us like that.
here's the thing. Y'all just wanted to get up here and talk for an hour and 20 minutes on this live because
We
it's a matter of just
No.
doing or keep doing.
we
It's a
needed that
matter.
layer of confirmation from you.
Yeah, I guess. 'Cause I'm over here writing
And
down notes.
somebody
And
else
I'm
needed
like,
it
every
writing.
time I say
Yes,
something, y'all confirm that y'all already know it. Listen,
that was
Richara.
God working in you. He knew what you needed to confirm
No,
with
because
us.
for a
We just
moment I
needed
was
to
like,
see
maybe
you.
we need to start this over because
That was what
because Janine was stressing me out.
But you got through it.
you got through, and this was the part we
And we
needed to
did
make sure
too.
these folks saw all of your amazingness in dealing with
Yes.
crazy
Yes.
clients like me and Neen. So
And both of y'all was like, am I slow? Like, wait a minute, is my gift not working? Like, Richara, your thing is you're clear. You have to prioritize and focus on one thing. Even if it's just for a moment, and let God through his timing divinely expand the vision. Let his future vision catch up with you. See, you all up here having multi businesses, and God's
yep.
saying, yes, you got the goods, but I'm not ready for you to be coach, consultant, and speaker. Right now, I want you to focus on this, pitch this, be on podcast for this, get interviewed here, tell people that you're speaking now, get on LinkedIn and be as consistent as Janine, and talk about your speaking, or go live every day.
Yeah,
Just
go
so,
live.
I mean, I gotta do my hair every day, y'all. Y'all asking too much of me.
child, you
No.
can go with a bonnet. It don't matter.
Put it in a ponytail, a bonnet.
And keep it rolling.
So your thing is focus, prioritization, and just doing it like Nike.
You know, I like how you said that because you hit the nail on the head. And when you said it, I was like, you know what? I see I'm trying to do, I see the vision because I'm clear on the vision.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm here trying to do everything that the vision has for me. So,
Right.
okay. Focus, prioritize. What
Yes,
else?
we got somewhere, Lord. Because I was like, are we getting anywhere? Because I don't know if my gift is working. But and Janine, honestly, you might not like me for this, but I think it's time for you to scale up. I think you're holding space when you're saying God is calling you for self-development is very true, but it's not in the traditional way of finding a book, doing a course. You already got the skills. You got the soft skills and the hard skills. You're a resume builder. People think that might be a minor job, but that takes a
No,
lot
it's
of
a
work
lot
to
of
be
work.
able to tap into people's experiences and be able to translate in that way to make them marketable. I think it's time for you to look at everything God has positioned you to do through resumes by Neen and ask yourself consistently as you seek God, besides going to school, that's a part of your vision. Absolutely. You would have made that clear. Yes. And we know why. And we know why it's a value to your life. And I get it. I never was discounting that.
Oh, I didn't think that.
But I do believe that God is calling you to scale up a notch and do something a tad bit different where you can put your toe in the water of this teaching thing that I think is your gift. If I were to categorize your vision just by listening to you, your vision, mission, purpose, it would be this. God has called you. Your vision is to be a learner. You're always going to be in a space where you're gleaning from him and the people he puts in your life to get more notches on your belt to be able to give to somebody else. I believe your purpose is the teaching. You are a teacher. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be in a traditional classroom. I think you may look back into your teens, you may look back into your childhood when you didn't even know God and find that you were the one showing people the ropes, even if it was the hood way.
Not
Even
the
if it
hood
wasn't the
way.
so saved way. Because he works all things together to work for your good. That's Romans 8:28. So even the things that you may discount because, oh, I wasn't saved back then, you may find that God gave you some credentials back then that you pulling into the work that you're doing now. And he's calling you to take that a step up a notch as you go back to school. And then your mission is all about the word, right? Think about resumes. It's all about presenting the words, literal words, in a way that appeals to an employer. If you put that on Neen's life, you're doing is whether you're teaching, whether you're writing a resume, whether you're instructing somebody to put together something to make them more marketable. It's about using the word of God. It's about using little words, piecing them together to present it in a way that's more marketable. Mm-hmm. So when I talk about your purpose within the Great Commission, that's your niche in that. That's how God is using you. And I think you're just operating in silos where God may want you to see it together as one.
That makes
And
sense.
I think there is curriculum. I keep hearing curriculum for you. I think
Oh, yeah, I do know that.
there is a curriculum that you don't have to wait on the PhD. The PhD is solely for you to get to an audience because you're already well learned, well educated. It's going to get you to an audience, like you said, where you can get indoors, get positions where you can have a greater impact. But what you teach, you already have. And I really encourage you to go to God and say, what the heck was crazy LJ saying when I already told her I'm just in a holding space and waiting to go back to school? What is she talking about? What can I do with this curriculum now?
So by holding, I don't mean that I'm not doing anything.
Right. I know.
Yeah, I'm actively working on my business. But
Right.
like this is to me, it's holding, but I know that it's still I'm impactful still.
Right. Absolutely. Even if it's something that you can do a what is it called? God, I did it with my
Webinar.
program. No. You could do a seminar, yes, but I'm thinking if you had a program with your curriculum and you just did oh my God, what is the word? A beta test. Is it beta test? Is that the word I'm looking for?
I think so. Like testing it out.
Yeah, where you just test it out. I think it may be advantageous for you to just test it out with some of your past clients and say, hey, I want to test this with you all to see if this works. Because I bet you'll be a teacher before you get you'll be teaching your own curriculum before you get this PhD. And then you'll be able to go to this PhD job and say, hey, I've tested it out with these group of people or whatever. And can I have this at Duke University? And can I have this course listed in the course manual and things of that nature? I bet that's what you have inside of you to give. I wouldn't be surprised. So, Richara, your thing is focus, prioritize, niche down, scale down temporarily so you don't feel like you're losing your baby. Janine, while you're holding, I would say test out this curriculum so that when you do get in that space, it's already well tested, all the kinks are out, and God is going to blow your mind with the position that He's going to put you in. Whew.
We made you work today.
Yes.
God had you on assignment today.
And I just feel like it wasn't that meaningful, but that's just me being in my head. But
You
I
in your
hope I
head.
gave you a
Really?
little bit.
You did. You did. And I'm gonna tell you why.
Okay.
Because although you feel like you done told us some stuff we already know, this is what I needed. Can you see it? Scale down that keyword temporarily.
Temporarily.
Because when folks say scale down niche now, and I'm like, hold on now. You trying to get me to give up God's gifts. Temporarily was my word I needed to hear.
Temporarily. It's
And I
only
have a
temporarily.
curriculum I've been working on. It's just taking a while because you gotta not perfect it, but I'm adding to it and whatnot. So I've like released little pieces, but it needs to be more structured. So
Well, I'll tell you this. When I started my program, um, I was doing it for free or nothing. It was like under $100, I think, for most of my program. And it was not perfect, but God perfected it as I was doing
Mhm.
it. Right. So I would encourage you, if it's like 70% there, man, 60% there, Neen, step on faith and get some people that you trust that can give you some feedback as they go through the program to maybe even encourage you and down a path that you didn't even think of because you were so siloed in yourself when thinking about it. It doesn't have to be perfect when you present it.
hmm
You can just put it out there and you'll have no idea what God will give you through the interactions. Like, I have been doing my program consistently, I would say, for 6 years now out of the 8 years that I've been in business. And it keeps getting better by just people that I bring on board for it. So
that's amazing.
put that curriculum out there.
Yes,
All
ma'am.
right, y'all. Woo! Okay, well, any questions? Lord Jesus, I ain't even been looking at the comments. Okay. So, question: if God already told someone that these are the steps they need to take to fulfill His purpose, who are we to tell them different? I want to know what she's referencing. This is Jean Morrison. I think this is one of you. This is when I was talking about exorcisms. Yeah, we don't tell them different. No. But God gives us affirmation and confirmation. We get affirmation from God, but He uses His people to give us confirmation. But people are never going to tell us what to do, how to do that. You have to be affirmed in God in that. But God does use people, and there are several examples in the Bible where He uses people to confirm what He's already given you to do. But it takes opportunities like this and times like this for people to be encouraged and emboldened to step out there when they hear people tell them what they already knew they were supposed to do anyway. So yeah, we are not in the game of telling people anything different. All right. Some of them feel they got there on their own, but God is who equips us. Okay. I don't know what they were talking about because I wasn't looking at it when it was coming through. All right. So those are all our comments. We don't have any questions. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to Richara and Janine telling us about their business and what they have going on next. Who wants to go first?
Then
Why
you
you
go
looking
first
like that, Rashara?
because God
Uh-oh.
done told Lauren to blow mine up. So hold on. So
Oh yeah, you scaling down.
I
But
gotta
tell them
scale down, so I
everything.
don't know what to say.
Well, you did say you want to speak. So here's your opportunity to pitch. If anybody's looking to have a speaker, a panelist, come on, Richard.
And that's the key word. So when I say speaker, definitely, and this is me getting in my own way. I'm not saying keynote, but I'm saying more panelists, and it makes sense of everything that you said. So now that God done told LJ to blow up my stuff, I would I would say the next thing on the horizon for me will be to absolutely scale down. Now, that doesn't go against the fact that I am going to be relaunching my inner circle, and the inner circle is the best way to be in all of the no's and the ways I can still continue to drop the jewels. But I think what I hear you're saying is that scaling down to pick the lane and how I will become more visible. And that's by way of the panels, by way of the podcast, by way of
Yes.
those things to make it feel like it's more aligned
Right.
with me.
Right.
So
And it's just like how I teach target audience, right? When you pick a target audience, that doesn't necessarily mean if my target audience is women in a corporate setting and I get somebody that is in the nonprofit setting that wants my services, that doesn't mean that I turn them away, right?
Right.
So when oh, it looks like she done
I think she's
froze.
froze.
Come back. Okay, hopefully Richara
I
will,
hope she exits and comes back in.
yeah, exit and come back in. All right, I'm gonna put a pin in that. Janine, go ahead and tell people what you have going on with your business and what's next, and then we'll come back to Rashard.
Do you want me to tell them how they can find me too?
Absolutely, all of that.
Oh, okay. So with my business, we offer federal resume writing, federal resume coaching. So we'll write it for you or we'll coach you how to write it yourself. We offer federal resume reviews and we do accept some non-federal resume clients, tongue twister. So if you don't need a federal job, we still do accept some who are not applying for federal jobs. And you can find me at Resumes by Neen on all platforms, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok for sure. That's where you'll get more gems.
Hmm.
Facebook and the website, resumes.by Neen.com.
Okay. Good, 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 good. And she is awesome on LinkedIn, especially. Well, I see her on TikTok. She everywhere. And Janine gets the most consistent wherever. So you can definitely find her on social media and definitely find some valuable tidbits and information that she gives out on the daily for real. So,
Yes.
yeah. So Rashard, you had froze. So I don't know where we were. I was
I hope
telling
it was
you
a good
about
frozen
you were
picture.
talking about the scale down temporarily, and you're going to be doing the pitching. But how if somebody wants to get in contact with you, where can they find you?
Definitely connect with me on LinkedIn. That is where
Mhm.
I'm the most active, even behind the scenes. I will be relaunching my Inner Circle mailing list next week. So definitely, and the link is already out there now. Just won't have none yet. But definitely launching that. And I would say, in terms of the best way to support me now in this new kind of era, as I'm stepping out of my comfort zone to align in more visibility spaces, is if you see me posting about a speaking engagement that I'm doing, share it, like it. If you see anything, any podcast opportunities, panel is my happy place, because like I said, that's where you get the most gems and jewels from me. Share them with me. Share them with me. That's it.
Okay, okay. And do you have a website, or are you just sticking with LinkedIn for people to sign up? Is that where they can go find join your inner
Yeah,
circle?
go there for now, because website is 85% getting revamped right now. But if
Okay.
you put in richarawarrren.com, it
Hmm.
will have some stuff pop up that you can join the mailing list, that you can see the next event that I'm in. You
Okay.
can connect with me on LinkedIn, all the, kind of the hot buttons. And then one other thing. So I will, for the month of July, I am doing complimentary clarity sessions
Good.
for women leaders and women founders in that space that want to kind of identify their roadblocks, as well as any confidence area that they want to get into. So that link is also out there.
Okay. Okay. Good. Good. And I just recall what I was saying to you earlier before you froze. Um, just because I'm advising you, and you want to get confirmation from God from anything I say, because I am not God.
Absolutely.
Okay. I'm just his tool that he uses, his vessel that he uses. But um, just like with target audience, when it comes to scaling down, you may choose to just focus on your speaking, but you
Mm-hmm.
still have an active coaching and consulting. That doesn't necessarily mean that if somebody comes, you say no to them, right?
Yep.
When I teach target audience, if I say my target, if we come up with the target audience with a client and they find that their target audience is women in the corporate setting, I always tell them that just means that all your efforts, your outputs that you put out there are going to be speaking to those people. But if
Mm-hmm.
you mess around and catch somebody in a different setting that really feels pulled to be impacted by you, that doesn't mean we turn them down.
Mm-hmm.
It just means that majority of your focus is there.
Yeah. You just
Ready.
brought confirmation. But yeah, confirmation is that the visibility vessel is by
Mm-hmm.
way of aligning with the speaking, aligning with that is the tool
Mm-hmm.
that's going to set out everything else. Yeah, you just provided that confirmation.
Okay. All right. Well, that concludes our live coaching session. If y'all hung with us, God bless you. God bless you. Because these are two strong black women that I said were black. I mean, were bright lights. And what I forgot to say is bright, clear lights. Okay. Um, because that first 30 minutes or so, woo-wee. But we got somewhere towards the end. So I thank you all for staying with me, staying with us and adding value to the conversation and commenting. I saw many comments on Instagram, especially. For me, if you want to stay in tune with the rest of our Moments in Transition productions, I have 3 more conversations left, and that'll be a wrap. I had to do a couple of reschedules. So my next one is with Patrick Coffey, a podcast host. On Saturday, I will connect you to. And then next week, I'm going to be having a conversation with a sleep fitness coach. And then a couple of weeks from there, my last one is actually my cousin. She is a mental health advocate and doing great work in the city of Boston in the state of Massachusetts. So you can find more information about that at ljlees.com/moments. And I'm now offering group coaching at a fraction of a cost for one-on-one coaching. So if you're interested in that, you can also find that at ljlees.com/group coaching. And then if you just go to ljlees.com, you can find out everything about my business and all my offerings. But that is it. Thank you all for joining us. Janine, Richara, thank you. I know
Thank
it's
you for
a little
having
bit
us.
first.
Thank you for having us.
But you know, it's not easy always being vulnerable in this type of setting. So I appreciate y'all for showing up, and even though y'all were challenged with asking the questions, y'all still showed up for me anyway. So I appreciate that, and I hope that y'all got something for it. Yeah. So that's all I got. Y'all got anything else to say before we wrap up?
Nothing
No,
other than
ma'am.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
You're
you. I don't
welcome.
want you to stay in your head. This was
Yes,
good.
please don't.
God needed you in this space in this moment
To
to
work with a
showcase.
diverse
There you
clientele.
go.
So you
Yeah,
weren't your
yeah.
traditional.
Oh,
There
I'm
you
my
go.
own worst critic. I'm my own worst critic, but it don't last long. It don't last like it used to. I've been delivered from that, but I
Oh, good.
appreciate y'all. I appreciate that. All right, well, go ahead, Janine, close us out in prayer, and then we will
All
wrap
right.
up.
Father God, we thank you for this time of fellowship and learning, God. God, continue pouring out your wisdom on us. God, I pray that you bless every person watching, every person that's going to watch by replay, and us, the business owners, God. Just continue increasing our knowledge for you, God, and also increasing the people that we touch. Let us continue being an inspiration and a light for you, God. God, thank you that you said that all things work together for the good of those who love you and who are called according to your purpose. God, we're called. God, and we're ready to just do what you would have us do. Continue giving us clarity and wisdom. In the mighty name of Jesus, we pray. Amen.
Amen. All right, it's been real. Y'all have a great rest of your night, and I will talk to y'all soon.